Welcome back. This is Saturday Sport. My name is Nicole Kente here on eNCA, Channel 403. We have in studio with us Simnikiwe Xabanisa. Now, earlier in the week, Cricket South Africa announced their squad intake for the National Academy. South Africa A coach Malibongwe Maketa will be in charge. Now, of course, this is a crucial link for players looking to make it into the Proteas team. Malibongwe joins Simnikiwe and I this morning to chat a bit about that. But Mali, good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining Simnikiwe and I. Now, I must ask you, what have been the areas of concern, if any, in the national team that need addressing?
Good morning to you both, Nicole. Well, I'm not really in a position to put it out there in terms of judging the national team or what is the concerns. I'm sure people in the camp are dealing with those things in-house, but for us as a pipeline supplying the national team, we're really focusing on making sure that we provide a lot in terms of quality of cricket, no matter what cricket it is, with a special attention to all-rounders. We want to make sure that we produce good all-rounders for especially T20 cricket and white ball cricket. It's a format that we feel we are a little bit behind on in terms of how the other nations have gone about it since the last World Cup. And also black African batters. We have Temba, we have a few players around who've been around for a while, so we want to grow that pool of players. It's a huge focus for us. And we just want to produce good quality cricketers really for good competition in terms of when it comes to selection. We want Victor to have a headache with all the qualities of cricketers that we're producing within the cricket academy space and also the SAA space.
Mali, whenever a team like this gets selected, I think people do sit back and wonder, you know, how do you put together a team like this, and B, I mean, without putting you on the spot, but going back to what Nicole was saying, you know, is there a trickle-down effect of sorts in terms, you know, from the national team? Is there an input from the national team in terms of, okay, you guys are picking a team, but can you guys, you know, have a proper look at this kind of area to address?
Most definitely, Sim. The whole information is coming down. We are all feeding up into the national team. So the biggest focus for us was sitting down with Victor, with all the national team role players in terms of selectors, and saying, okay, what are the opportunities that are coming up in terms of gaps in future, looking at the Proteas squad currently. And we have, and it has been identified, we do need a lot more black African batters to come through. So that is the focus. We want to develop all-rounders, and that is the focus. And we just also want to develop well-rounded players who are self-referent, and they can come into the national space and perform. You know, that's the main goal. But in answering your question, it is based on what the Proteas need in the next year or two, or even 3 years, for us to be successful in terms of dominating world cricket.
But Mali, when you say that there is a lack of black African batsmen, the question of transformation is going to remain for a very long time still. So how do you balance that going into these types of projects? Are there any targets that are set for you, seeing as though you do feed into the national team?
Well, Nicole, we're working with talented players, but we're also working with elite players. Yes, there's no target as such. We also don't want to be feeding players whom are not ready, just be putting them through just because they're black African. That's not the case. We are going around the country identifying future Proteas. And where we see there is a lot of room for development, a lot of room for growth, then we bring those players closer to grow them in terms of what is needed, like I said, in the year or two's time. It's not a matter of handpicking people just because of the color of their skin. It's really identifying, especially now having 15 provinces. You know, a few players have jumped out that maybe we could have missed, but it's an exciting time for us in terms of trying to develop these players, not really trying, developing these players to tick the boxes that we need in terms of the national team is concerned.
Mali, once you've picked these guys, how does it actually work? Do you just take them to, to the high performance center at Tugs? And just from a personal perspective, as someone who worked with the Warriors on a daily basis as a coach, what's it like to sort of hurry up and wait for your, for your turn to coach the players?
Well, the whole process is a 3-year process. In the past, it was a 4 months project whereby we brought the players in, we were at the HPC for 4 months, and then we end off with the tour. And it was identified that you do all of the work for 4 months, you take them back to their franchises or provinces, and they filter in, you monitor their progress, you almost feel now they're ready to kick in. And at times with different challenges, they might not get the game time. After all the work you've done, they might just lack game time in their franchises because there was lack of opportunity. And we've changed it slightly now. It's going to be a 3-year project whereby we're focusing on those players for a long period of time, where we can bring them in at any time where we feel they've lacked something or they need to maybe add a special shot in their game to become a different player.
Yeah.
So we've got that leverage now where we carrying on with the longer project. And when we feel we need to expose them maybe to age and conditions, we can take them on tours to Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or India. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole rounded program now in terms of how we go about it.
But Mali, we're going to have to leave it there for now. But thank you so much for joining Simnikiwe and I, South Africa A coach Malibongwe Maketa there. Now, still to come, South African football boasts 3 teams in CAF competitions. Unfortunately, not a very good start for AmaZulu. More on that when we return. Stay with us.
Chimpamba coming out smartly.